You know, Fallout has come a long way since its humble beginnings way back in 1997.
Since that time, we've had a sequel, a spin-off, a travesty, a hiatus, and then finally a rebirth.
Now Bethesda's finally released the long-awaited sequel to Fallout 3 and New Vegas. So today, I'm going to be looking at Fallout 4 for the PlayStation 4. That's fact.
Fallout 4 begins with not Ron Perlman narrating a rather impressive looking opening animation, featuring the now iconic War Never Changes spiel.
War never changes.
We jump forward to not Ron standing in front of his bathroom mirror deciding what he's going to look like today. There you go.
War never changes.
You know what, buddy? No. You go over there, and I'm gonna play as your wife. Yeah, how does that feel? You like that, bitch? I make myself up real nice.
I feel pretty, oh so pretty.
And I go tend to the various duties around the house. What the hell is that? It's not long before the doorbell rings and I'm greeted by a salesman from V.A.T.S. He urges me and my family to take shelter in the newly built Vault 111, adding that due to not Ron's service in the military, we get automatic admission. A bit more family time occurs and we learn from a TV broadcast that shit is about to go down, and soon. There's sirens, some chaos, and a mad dash to the rather conveniently placed vault. What's a whole lot less convenient is this weird-ass elevator thing that they've devised. I mean, wouldn't it make more sense to have a ladder or a side entrance like every other vault in the series? We enter the vault and immediately everyone's ushered into pods. Hey, so you just gonna get in the pods? No questions asked? You know, like what's with the pods? Yeah? Okay. So, of course, your entire family is flash frozen, even the infant, which just kinda seems like a really bad idea to me. A little bit of time passes, some dudes come by, they steal the kid, and they murder the crap out of not Ron. No, don't do that. They leave me alive because otherwise that would be a pretty short game. They put you under the deep freeze again, an unspecified amount of time passes, and you wake up for a second time. So you activate some skeletons, explore a bit, and make your way into the wasteland to begin the game in earnest. Now, if you've played Fallout 3 and New Vegas, this game will feel familiar right from the start, although there have been a few key changes and upgrades. First and foremost, while the special system is still in place, skill points and the skill list are dead. Fallout 4 is entirely perk-based. And while it works well enough, to me it just seems to go further towards your character being able to be a jack of all trades and a master of all of them as well. And doesn't that kinda defeat the purpose of role-playing? Many of the old classic perks are back, such as your Bloody Mess and the like, and a few existing classics that have been tweaked due to the lack of any and all skill points, such as Gun Nut now being entirely related to weapon crafting. I also like some of the new ones that they've added, like this Aqua Boy, Aqua Girl perk that allows me to breathe underwater, and it nullifies any radiation buildup that you usually get while swimming. So if you're out of your mind like me, and the first thing you think of when you see a large body of water is, oh yeah, there's gotta be some good stuff in there, this perk will be your wet dream. There have also been some tweaks made to the general traversal aspects of the game, and I'm happy to say that they have finally gotten around to adding a much needed sprint button. For me, however, this is both a blessing and a curse. You see, there's no stamina per se, but sprinting does cost AP, or action points per second. So let's say, for example, you're booking it away from a particularly persistent rad scorpion who's decided that you were severely lacking in large puncture wounds. But then you get cornered and you're fucked for anything that requires AP. And this brings me to V.A.T.S, or the Vault-Tec Assisted Targeting System, which for those of you who haven't yet played a Bethesda Fallout game, has previously allowed you to pause time and automatically target your enemy's individual body parts for attack. And each attack costs a certain number of action points depending on the weapon that you're using. In this game, however, you don't exactly pause time so much as slow it to a crawl. This means you can't go into V.A.T.S, grab a beer, rub one out, and then come back to resume your game.
Oh, like you never did that.
This time around, you no longer have to open up a full separate menu to loot containers and corpses. Simply hovering over them brings up this floating mini menu which lets you take whatever it is that you want. And this is great for anyone who isn't me, because I'm so set in my ways that like an Alzheimer's patient, I invariably hit the circle button to exit the menu, which then brings up the goddamn Pip-Boy. Every single time. Another major change that they've made to V.A.T.S is that they've heavily reworked the critical hit system. You see, in most RPGs, there's a critical strike chance that occurs based on the game's own internal dice rolls. And while this still seems to be the case outside of V.A.T.S, here they forego that for a crit gauge that fills incrementally when you make a successful hit within it. Once the meter is full, you can use it to turn the next targeted shot into a guaranteed critical strike. And I mean guaranteed. I have even hit enemies who have retreated behind solid walls. If you're anything like me, in these recent Fallout games, you'll love to explore and pick up pretty much anything that's not nailed down. Well, good news, friend. There's finally a use for those 6 desk fans and 3 hot plates you recently shoved down your pants. You see, Fallout 4 has a fairly robust crafting and upgrade system. This means you can upgrade various aspects of your weapons and armor provided you possess the requisite perk or perks, and you have the raw materials. And this is where your collection of typewriters and ashtrays comes in. Each of these items can be broken down into the raw materials that you'll need to trick out that favorite shotgun of yours or whatever. Because of that, exploration is a whole lot more rewarding. You'll find yourself wandering around some abandoned office building thinking,
More asbestos! More asbestos!
On a semi-related note, they've also added a settlement system to the game. At a certain point during the story, you'll be allowed to take control of various locations all around the map. You can create new buildings, craft all sorts of objects to keep the settlement safe from attacks, and find new ways to attract NPCs to your location. And yeah, it can be amusing, but as far as I can tell, it's fairly optional if that ain't your bag. Karma's been done away with in favor of a follower affinity system. So, for example, if you're traveling with a companion who wishes to be virtuous, blowing the heads off innocent people in order to collect a bounty is generally frowned upon. So, get a load of this. I wandered into this creepy cult who attacked me as soon as I refused to join up, and even after slaughtering the lot of them, which she was fine with by the way, taking items out of their now vacant homes is still somehow considered stealing. Oh yeah, that pile of meat that used to be a psychopath sure is gonna miss his box of mentats. You can even reach a high or a low point of your affinity with your companion, so if they really start to dislike you, they'll refuse to accompany you any further. However, if you move far enough in the other direction, there's a chance to woo them. I mean, looky here, I'm currently in a relationship with this chick Piper, which has granted me a companion-specific perk, as well as a boost in experience gain for a limited time after we find a place to, knock boots. Another noteworthy addition are the legendary enemies, which will occasionally spawn based on factors such as luck and difficulty settings. Now, these enemies don't tend to look any different, but they will be stronger and sometimes faster than their non-legendary counterparts. They also have this delightful habit of mutating in the middle of battle. They start to glow, regain all of their health, and become even stronger than they were before. Each legendary variant will also have a unique piece of equipment with special abilities, like this shotgun that I found on a ghoul that builds my critical meter faster than normal. I never leave home without it. Now, as far as the graphics are concerned, it's okay. It's really nothing to write home about. The people are a lot more believable and lifelike than in previous games, even if they do have a bit of that, Bethesda stare going on. One thing worth noting is that there's a much stronger use of color this time around. The environments don't look quite as washed out as they did in, say, Fallout 3. And you know, it really wouldn't be a Bethesda game if it didn't have its fair share of glitches, bugs, and graphical anomalies. Like, for example, here when it was raining inside this building. Oh, and this happened. A little bit of this here. And these boxes sure seem to be getting real friendly. Now, sadly, the best graphical glitches all seem to occur when I wasn't actually recording anything. So, if you'll indulge me for a moment, here is a brief reenactment. One day, I was fighting a Protectron that had gone completely berserk. After chipping away at the majority of its health, I lobbed a grenade at the thing and blew it to smithereens. I then walked over to what was now a pile of scrap to claim my much-deserved loot, only to have it erupt in a pitch-black explosion, which left me dead and feeling just a little bit foolish. The story and writing seem a bit better than in Fallout 3, but, you know, they try to keep you more emotionally invested with the whole spouse murder deal and your creepy baby being abducted. Oh God, keep it! And at least for me, it all fell pretty flat. And there are plenty of side and story quests to complete, but like in every Bethesda Fallout game before this one, you kinda have to make your own fun. Like here, where I've decided to own every toaster in the wasteland because I can. But I swear to God, these things are some of the rarest items in the whole goddamn game. So in order to obtain some of them, I had to become the Toaster Bandit, much to the dismay of my companions. Another interesting tidbit that they've added for this release is the Pip-Boy phone companion app that's free to download from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. This fully integrates with the game and allows you to control your Pip-Boy with your phone. And for those of us who are lucky enough to snag the coveted Pip-Boy edition of the game, there's even a plastic Pip-Boy into which your phone can be placed for ease of access and general geekiness. Sadly, larger phones like my Note 3 are just a little too big. But if you're creative, you can find a way to make it work.
Hey honey, have you seen my phone?
You don't have one.
And there's a lot to do, as you might imagine. I picked the game up at launch, and as I'm writing this review, I haven't actually completed it. But if I were to wait until I beat the damn thing to my satisfaction before I reviewed it, we'd be waiting until mid-February. In conclusion, this is a Bethesda-era Fallout game. The story's a bit trite and silly, and the RPG aspects, while robust in options, seem kind of lacking in overall depth. And at least for the PlayStation 4 version, the loading times can be rather long. I doubt it'll blow your mind or change your life. However, this game is still a blast if you go in expecting a revamped Fallout 3. It's great killing raiders and taking their stuff. It's awesome loading up my pockets with teacups and duct tape, and it's just fun wandering around a large open world and finding yet another unexplored building that might have some really fancy loot or a unique weapon. Fallout 4 is a lot of fun.
Well, with that big one out of the way, my next review will be something a bit more out there. We'll see you then. You just love being in the frame, don't you, buddy? You just love getting in the way, don't you, buddy?